Hello and welcome back to match number 3. This time we face a Warlock. Okay, our starting hand is looking pretty good except for the Frost Elemental, of course. We rather have something else that we can play early on. SI7 agent is strong. With the coin in combination we can remove a minion and play it as a minion. Backstab is also fine to remove something early on. Eviscerate is great to remove anything else. Okay, and Bloodset Raider also has an addition as a strong card. Okay, we can now backstab, and now I'll pause here for a second. We now could have played the Bloodset Raider, I mean first coin of course. But then we wouldn't have anything good to play on turn 2. So I decide to keep the coin and hope that he plays a 3-2. So we can just coin and SI7 agent is 3-2 and then have developed a minion for our own. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, he plays Ancient Watcher, which is a little bit too big for our SI7, so we just play the Bloodset Raider. If you can enable it with silence, it's obviously not great for us, but playing nothing is even worse, so we play him and see what he does. Okay, he has a silence, so that's obviously not great, but it's still okay. Okay, now we could coin out the SI7 and kill the owl and have a 3-3 on board to match his 4-3, but that's somewhat dangerous, because if he has anything else to remove our SI7, we just traded 1 for 1 and with a bad one, and also the coin would be gone, plus we couldn't use the additional mana for anything else, so we would use the coin only to combo out the SI7. So we go with dagger and deadly poison and just remove it right away, and have the dagger for next turn as well, plus a lot of damage in hand. We can coin Eviscerate plus SI7 to deal a lot of damage, 6 damage plus the dagger we have in hand, so we're most likely to deal with anything he plays. Turns out most likely is not always. Oasis Snapjaw is a little bit too much here, so we could waste our whole damage that we hold in hand. We could coin SI7 plus Eviscerate plus dagger just to get rid of the Snapjaw. This seems a little bit too excessive, so we just should play the Senjin here and use the dagger to kill off the owl. That's a lot better. That way we can keep our damage in hand in case we need it for anything else for his turn 5 play. And in theory we can, if he hits our taunt, we can hit it back and hit it with the dagger and our taunt would still be alive, so that's also a small plus size. Okay, he silenced it and goes for face. Now we have some options. If we cold blood the Senjin, we can kill off the Snapjaw, and now we need something else to kill off the Spellbreaker. So if we use the coin, we can SI agent the Spellbreaker plus dagger it and have 1 additional mana to Cold Blood Ascension and kill off everything that way. That way we have 2 minions on board, and one of them would be a 7/3, which is pretty big. It trades for 1, but he probably needs to invest something else to kill it off then, and in that case it's fine. We are guaranteed our 1 trade and he needs something else to kill it off. For example, Soulfire. And if he Soulfires here, we are fine with that. He loses an additional card. Turns out he had Shadow Bolt, but we are fine with that as well. So he just plays basically Cannon Fodder for 3/3. Now we don't have a good play that uses up all of 6 mana, so we decide between Flesh Eating Ghoul and Bloodfem Raptor or Frostwood Warlock. I think this play is a little bit more greedy. We can just play it as a 5/5, which is somewhat fine. And this play, we have a lot of minions out, but if he has something like Hellfire, we would be in a pretty rough place. So that play is debatable. Okay. He uses Demon Fire plus Mortal Coil to get rid of the Flesh Eating Ghoul and taps and end his turn. So he couldn't develop his board at all, which is perfect for us. That leaves us with the option to play a 6/6 and use our dagger and just redagger. This was a small mistake I made here. We should obviously use the dagger first to hit his face and then redagger. It can make a difference. So yeah, and you want to go for every advantage that you can, and this is one. Because now if we need 2 dagger charges, it can turn out to be bad later on. Okay. Sludge Belcher is pretty heavy, but we have enough on board to already deal with it, and with a risk rate we also have a lot of damage in hand. Now we can shift Eviscerate to get rid of the Sludge Belcher and kill the leftover with the Fan Creeper, and also play Van Cleave. So that's our play so far. Of course we draw a card first and see if it changes anything for us. Okay, we now have the option to play Scarlet Crusader instead of Van Cleave, but we're obviously going for the bigger minion. We remove the Sludge Belcher first. And go with Van Cleave here. He wasn't able to deal with the 6/6, so a second 6/6 is probably the way to go. Okay, here's another Mortal Coil. And also a Siphon Soul, so he can kill off our board pretty good so far. But he taps again and again isn't able to develop his board, which is obviously not great. So we now just put out everything we have there and threaten him with lethal. and we can use the dagger charge as well, because we don't have anything big that we can draw into, which wouldn't allow us to re-dagger if we need to. I mean, the only play that uses up 10 manas would be Gnomish Inventor into Gnomish Inventor into, I don't know, Eviscerate or stuff like that, but that would also give us lethal, so we're fine with that either. Okay, and he taps and plays Soulfire and is done with it. Okay, this was match number 3. The only misplay, or small misplay, I saw there was the thing with the dagger, where we should hit first and then re-dagger, but again, it's small mistakes that add up to the bigger picture. If you want to reach very high win rates, you need to be able to identify those small mistakes and get rid of them, because they all add up. If you do small mistakes, you here and then lose, and you only can lose 3 times, so you can reach that losing streak pretty fast. Okay, that was match number 3. See you for match number 4.